133 laps at the Kentucky Speedway. This is race number 10 of Season 4. Last week, John O'Heisel once again took another race victory in his season's campaign for a championship. Now it is time to go qualify here in Kentucky. Last week, Harrison Talon got his first career Cup Series pole. He became one of just 5 drivers to have won a pole this season. Nick Dabbs was the first driver to win a pole in this season at Daytona. So far, the pole leaders this year. Looks like we've got Chad Frankenfield. John O'Heisel actually has the most poles. He has a pole in Atlanta, Martinsville, and Dover. Chad Frankenfield is second on that list with Richmond and Pocono. This will be a 5-lap qualifying session for these drivers to get their best laps in. Oh, 18 and 48 touch. She's a little too tight for that number 18 car. Down the back straightaway. Several different new looks on these race cars this week. We got the number 24 Mountain Dew Chevrolet, the number 78 Auto Owners Toyota Camry. We also have the Lowe's A.O. Smith Chevrolet by Ryan Thorvaldson. And then, of course, for the second time this year, the 18 is going to be sporting the M&M's Caramel paint scheme. Just about everybody jumped on pit road real quick, except the 18 car. Didn't want to cause more of a stir on pit road than there already was. 18 looks like he's pulling onto pit road right now. Some radical adjustments to many of these race cars. We're also waiting on one more driver, and that'll be Trey Normiel making his first career start. Another driver making their first career start is Kurt Gibson in the number 20 Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing. Chad Frankenfield up in the lead right now for this qualifying race. Of course, this is not based on start and finishing position, but rather your fastest lap time that you can put up. Eddie Carter, he'd only run the Napa Auto Parts paint scheme and the Sun Energy 1 paint scheme on the number 24. This is his first race not running either one of those two paint schemes, and it looks fantastic under the lights here in the Bluegrass State. Oh, 18 gets loose, hits the wall. Oh, 24 hits the wall, flips! Think we might have a little bit of lag in this lobby, unfortunately. 18, quite loose. Seems like quite a few issues here with several of these race cars. Definitely not the way the 18 car wanted his qualifying session to go. Not gonna get the pole tonight. And he's going to cut it off here. We're going to find out who gets the pole tonight here in Kentucky. You see the number 20 Tide Pods Toyota Camry. I believe the number 19 is also running the Camping World Toyota. And John O'Heisel running a brand new paint scheme as well. The Drive to End Hunger number 5. Just about everybody but Harrison Talon is running a brand new paint scheme. Harrison Talon, of course, ran that number 4 car, the Ford Mobile 1 Ford, several times this season. And here we are. Pole is John O'Heisel. Pole number 4. All right. John O'Heisel, another pole for him this season. And here is your starting lineup. Starting 10th, Trey Normiel, running the number 31 car. Starting in 9th is David Brailsford in the number 3. Starting in 8th is Keith Marek in the number 18. Starting 7th is Kurt Gibson in the number 20. Starting 6th is Rashawn Lewis in the 19. Starting in 5th is Harrison Talon in the number 4. Starting in 4th is Chad Frankenfield in the number 78. Starting 3rd is Eddie Carter in the number 24. Starting 2nd is Ryan Thorbelson in the 48. And starting on the pole, John O'Heisel. It is a 1, 2, 3 Hendrick Motorsports starting lineup here in Kentucky. Seems like Hendrick Motorsports, they figured something out in the last few weeks. They've definitely become the more dominant of the teams that we've been able to see. Of course, John O'Heisel scoring 2 race wins with the new Chevrolet that he's been sporting the past few weeks. Switching, of course, from the number 77 over to the number 5. And he is one of 2 drivers to have won with the Hendrick Motorsports team. Of course, Ryan Thorbelson is the only other race winner beside John O'Heisel and Chad Frankenfield in this season's campaign. Ryan Thorbelson, of course, won in New Hampshire on fuel mileage in the number 48 Cobalt Tools Chevrolet. But here we go. Drivers out of turn 4, pace car on pit road, green flag in the air. We are racing in Kentucky. Carter swerving a little bit out of the 3rd position, moves up, touches the 48, his teammate puts him in the wall. 48 gonna fall way back. He falls from the 4th position, and he's gonna go all the way back to the 7th position. Actually, I'm sorry, Ryan Thorbelson started in 2nd. Out of turn number 4 we go. John O'Heisel has the lead over his teammate. Here comes Brailsford making it 3 wide, down on the inside. Oh, Chad Frankenfield gets a little tag from Sean Lewis. Seems this racetrack has definitely turned from the bottom feeding track of the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series to the outside lane. The outside lane is what is going to be the favored part of the racetrack. It looks like you cannot run the bottom lane in 1 and 2 unless you really back off your corners. Coming out to turn 4 once again, John O'Heisel leads another lap. Harrison Talon trying to run down Eddie Carter for the 2nd position. Then we got Kurt Gibson, Rashawn Lewis, David Brailsford, Ryan Thorvaldson, Chad Frankenfield, Keith Marek, and Trey Nomiel. At a turn number 2, almost side by side between the 3 and the 20. And it is side by side now. 48 also looking to advance his position. He's going to end up clearing the 19 and the 20. 78 looks to do the same. Kurt Gibson up on the wall about a turn number 3. All good. No harm, no foul. Harrison Talon, new driver in the 2nd position, passing Eddie Carter. David Brailsford moved up to 4th, but here comes Ryan Thorvaldson, wanting to take his rightful position back up at the front of the field as he's going to draw side by side with the 3 down the back straightaway with the 78, looking for a hole somewhere as we enter turn number 1 in the 6th position. Here comes Rashawn Lewis in the number 19 car down in 7th position, trying to get as close as he can to the bottom without touching the apron or another car. Here comes Frankenfield on the inside of the 48. He's there. He's there. Side by side, 78 and 48. Side by side, heading down to turn number 1. 3 car falls back to the 6th position. Going down the back straightaway, 48, 78, and 3 all battling for the 4th position. Oh, maybe 3 wide. 78 pushes the 48 up just a little bit. 18 passes his teammate over Sean Lewis. 3 wide, heading to the line. Speaking of 3, the 3 car goes to 4th. Rocketing down into turn number 1. David Brailsford leads that 4 car pack, heading down through turns 1 and 2. Here comes Frankenfield under the number 3 car. And speaking of the 4, we've got Harrison Talon running down John O'Heisel for the race lead here in Kentucky. He has not won this season at any level of the PCRL Racing Series, the Trucks, Xfinity, or Cup, and he's looking to make a bold statement by winning tonight in Kentucky. But of course, we still have quite a long way to go in stage number 1 alone, 33 laps to go. Eddie Carter looks like he's slipping just a little bit further. 48 touches the apron. He saves it. 48 commenting over the radio about how the 78 car kind of forced him down there. Wasn't very appreciative of how he was raced through turns 1 and 2. It seems that 78 car has been quite aggressive all season long, but the 48 car falls back to the 8th position. But we have no wrecks, no cautions, no crashes. We are still racing. 3 car gives the 78 just a little bit of a nudge, but the 78 holds on to it. Oh, 78 touches the apron, spins. 3 car gets involved. 18 gets involved. Caution waves. Seems that 78 car, he just got a little bit of a nudge from the 3 car, moved him down to the apron. Definitely frustrating to see that 78 car wreck in front of quite a few drivers, but that's just how it goes sometimes at these low-banked mile-and-a-half racetracks. Everybody putting radical adjustments on. Just about everybody is pitting. John O'Heisel looks like he's going to end up retaining the lead here. Yes, he will. Starting on his outside, Harrison Talon, then it's Carter, Marek, and Lewis to round out the top 5. Here we come back to the line. Green flag. 28 laps to go in stage number 1. O'Heisel leads the field down into turn number 1. 24 clears the 4. 19 going to draw even with him down the back straightaway. Full 48 gets put in the wall by the 18. 18 just moved up a tad and put the 48 on the wall. Those Toyotas have not been kind to Ryan Thorvaldson tonight. Oh, 78 gets moved off the track a little bit. 48 giving a little bit of retaliation, showing how he's not all that appreciative of how he was raced before. Oh, Carter in the wall. Just tags it just a tad. 3 wide through turns 1 and 2. Frankenfield clears the 18, gets back up to the top 5. John O'Heisel falling all the way back from the lead all the way back to the 4th position. Rashawn Lewis in 2nd, but we're going to crash! Oh, Lewis and Frankenfield crash. Caution. Eddie Carter had the race lead as the caution came out. Ryan Thorvaldsen might be taking some strategy here. No, he will not. Will Trey Normiel do the same? Maybe some strategy? Yes. New race leader. Trey Normiel in the number 31. Making his first career Cup Series start. Actually, first career PCRL start this season. And here we go. Back up to the line. Chevrolet's leading the field to the green. Normiel drops all the way to the apron. Looks like he might not have wanted to stay out there. Going down into turn 1. Carter in front of Marek, O'Heisel, and Thorvaldsen. Oh, 5 car gets loose on the exit of turn number 2. Caution waves once again. Seems we have a little bit of a wreck fest going on behind us. Carter, Marek, Thorvaldsen, Lewis, and Frankenfield are your top 5. Once the caution come out, looks like Rashawn Lewis is going to go pit. Will other drivers follow? Gibson, Brailsford, O'Heisel all pitting. Any others? Yes. Normiel will also go, and so will Frankenfield. Oh, I apologize. It was not Frankenfield. It was Talon. Here we go. Back to the restart box. Green flag. .24 and 48 down on the bottom lane. Teammates lined up on the inside. 78 pushes under the 18 car. Going to take over the 4th position. Puts the 18 to the wall. 78 going to clear the 4. Oh, gives the 40 a little bit of a nudge, heading down into turn number 3. 24, 48, 78, 4, and 3. Here comes the 20 of Kurt Gibson, looking to break into the top 5. Thorvaldsen under his teammate into turn number 1. Oh, Carter gets a little bit loose over the exit of turn number 2. Thorvaldsen loses the lead. He almost spins it. He and the apron are not good friends tonight. Chad Frankenfield to the lead. Oh my goodness, that could have been horrible. Harrison Talon slid up in front of everyone. No one got involved but Talon. That was almost horrible. Luckily, everything is okay. 18, 19 side by side, 5 and 3 side by side. Eddie Carter not letting Chad Frankenfield out of his sight. He is sticking right with him off the exit of turn number 4. He's going to get to the bottom almost. No, he will not. 78 just clears him. As we pass the start finish line, 16 laps to go in stage number 1. A valuable stage point is on the line for several of these drivers, including Eddie Carter. He really needs another stage point if he really wants to advance himself. O'Heisel is put in the wall. Oh, David Brailsford gets loose. Normiel, his teammate, lines up behind him off the exit of turn number 4. He's going to fall back a few spots. Brailsford and Marek side by side. Marek going to clear him down in turn 1. Rashawn Lewis trying to break away from the 5 of O'Heisel for the 3rd position. He's been pretty stout so far tonight. Started a little bit further back than he would have liked to, but so far tonight he has shown that he can run up at the front of the field. O'Heisel pulls up to the back of him though. David Brailsford yet another issue down on the apron through turns 3 and 4. Here comes Thorvaldsen. He has ran down that 18 car from 1.5 miles away, and he is just eating into the rest of these guys. 48 going to go to the inside of the 18. 18 going to give him the line. Exiting turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Hendrick Motorsports looking to obtain 3 of the top 5 spots. It goes Toyota, Chevy, Chevy, and here comes another Chevy of Trey Normiel, the number 31, going to take over 6th from Merrick. Then it's Gibson and Talon and Brailsford. We only have 1 Ford in tonight's event, and that is Harrison Talon running back in the 9th position. Oh boy! Trey Normiel touches the apron just a tad, and the 18 of Merrick had to slide out of the way just to avoid wrecking. 18 had a very shallow entrance, messed up the 20 and the 4. Simply due to the fact that 31 just got a little too free through turns 1 and 2, had to adjust on the back straightaway. But everything is okay for now. So Trey Normiel, he is going to fall all the way back to the 10th position. Merrick just keeps on falling. Oh boy, 18 going to be putting a 3-wide sandwich. And he puts Talon in the wall. 3-car touches the apron. That 3-wide did not work. David Brailsford not having a good night with that apron. He is having a horrible night, actually. He just keeps hitting that darn apron. I believe that Chad Frankenfield is still in the race lead over Eddie Carter. Then we got John O'Heisel in the 3rd position in the number 5 car. Then you got Rashawn Lewis, Ryan Thorvaldson, Kurt Gibson, Keith Merrick, Harrison Talon, Trey Normiel, and David Brailsford. Ten laps to go in stage number 1. This is a 133 lap event. 200 miles around Kentucky can be quite taxing on a car that isn't all that hot. Chad Frankenfield continues to pace this field. Seems to be a very common theme throughout the season, whether it's Xfinity, Truck, or Cup. Rashawn Lewis doing quite well for the Joe Gibbs stable. He currently leads one of 3 drivers in the Joe Gibbs stable here tonight. Of course, the next driver is Kurt Gibson, making, of course, his first career start here at Kentucky in the PCRL Cup Series. He previously ran different seasons that we've run in the past, but this is his first time running with us this season. Of course, he drives the number 20 Tide Pods Toyota Camry, as Harrison Talon looks to get to the inside of the 18 of Merrick. Got a battle for the lead between Carter and Frankenfield. John O'Heisel slowly closing in. Merrick just got a little too wide up off the exit of turn number 2. No fault of anyone else's but his own, as he just tagged the wall. John O'Heisel throwing out the hook and reeling it on in, trying to get the big fish. Chad Frankenfield pulling some gutsy moves. These drivers are slowly migrating to the outside lane, it seems. The drivers are a little ill handling. They seem to be pushing up a little bit tighter as the run rolls on. 6 laps to go in stage number 1. Harrison Talon had a great outing last week at the Michigan International Speedway, winning a stage, helping his playoff cause. Currently running in the 7th position. Trey Normiel slowly running down the 18 of Merrick, trying to take over the 8th position. Now, the way it stands, all drivers that are competing tonight will earn stage points. Looks like a driver got a little too free up off the exit of turn number 2. I believe that is either Hoheisel or Carter. That is Carter in the 5th position. He was battling for the lead. He's probably none too pleased with Chad Frankenfield the way he was raced. That 24 car, he has always getting the bad end of the stick when it comes to the end of these stages or the end of these races. That 78 car is not liked tonight amongst the community of drivers, saying he's racing a little too hard. 24 car going to dive down onto pit road, a little bit of a strategy call. Hopefully it pays off for him, as of course this stage is a wash for him. 3 laps to go in stage number 1. Chad Frankenfield, it seems like he's just running quite aggressively. Now, will the drivers make it to the end of this stage on fuel? Chad Frankenfield down on pit road, but he just wrecked. That is not good for him. Seems that pit road has not been a kind figment to him this season. Many drivers low on fuel. Have any of these guys been saving? That is the question. 31 of the 18 both run into the wall. I think several of these drivers are going to end up sputtering here at the end of this stage. Oh, 18 starting to sputter right in front of the 31 car. Almost wrecks him. Many drivers are all slowing down. Marek gonna coast to finish 8th in this stage. And who is our stage winner? John Hoheisel gonna win stage number 1. Then it's Lewis, Gibson, Thorvaldsen, Talon, Normiel, Brailsford, Marek, Frankenfield, and Carter. Now, several of these drivers better take note as to what just happened in terms of the fuel strategy. It looks like everybody they were very, very, very close. Everybody has to pit here because I don't think anybody has any fuel. I think that the only 2 drivers that had fuel were Frankenfield and Carter. Well, here we come back to the restart box, coming to the green flag. Hoheisel and Lewis going to lead them down to the green. Oh, 24 puts the 18 and the 31 on the wall. .31 car wants to apologize to the 18. 18 says it ain't his fault. 24 car just made it 4 wide heading into turn number 1. Not sure exactly what he was thinking there, but he pushed it 4 wide, pushed the 31 up into the 18 car, and now the 18 car looks like he is 9.5 seconds off of the race leader. 36 laps to go in stage number 1. Not going to be able to give you many updates here, simply due to the fact that we can't see who is where. All right, we got John Hoheisel in the lead. Then we got Thorvaldsen, Gibson as your top 3. And we got David Brailsford in the 4th position, Chad Frankenfield in the 5th position. Then we got 6th, Talon, 7th, Lewis, 8th, Normiel, 9th, Marek, and 10th, Carter. Eddie Carter, of course, trying to get a lap back. Caution waves. We got a crash. Looks like Harrison Talon and David Brailsford got involved there. John O'Heisel in the lead. Then it's Thorvaldsen, Gibson, Lewis, and Normiel. Thorvaldsen pitting here. Only 3 drivers not confirmed yet. All right, we got 2 drivers not confirmed, and those 2 drivers are staying out. And that is Kirk Gibson and Trey Normiel are newcomers to this season. Here we come. Green flag. Eddie Carter officially back on the lead lap. Trey Normiel holds up the entire outside lane. Had a very poor restart there. Unfortunate for the drivers that were restarting behind him. But here we go off the exit of turn number 2. We've got the number 5 car in the lead. Then we got Lewis, Gibson, Talon, and Carter. Then we got Marek, Frankenfield. Now Frankenfield's trying to battle the 18 for that spot. Here comes Thorvaldsen trying to make it 3 wide. Is he going to do it? Yes, he is! No, he's not. 78 car backs out. Heading into turn number 1, it is still O'Heisel in the lead. We got the 19 of Rashawn Lewis running second. Such an impressive drive by him tonight. Then we got Talon, Carter, Gibson fighting Thorvaldsen, along with Frankenfield, Marek, Brailsford, and Normiel. Down into turn number 3, John O'Heisel just hit the rocket boosters. 48 spins! 24 spins! Everybody gets tight. The 20 car pushes down on the 18 and the 3. And that 20 car just pushed right down on the 18. 18 had nowhere to go and just ran down into the 3 car. That 3 car's been having such a rough night tonight. 18 apologizing to the 3 car. O'Heisel leading Talon, and then it's Frankenfield, Lewis, and Marek. Kirk Gibson just pushed down on the 18 car on the front straightaway. I guess he just didn't know it was 2 wide under him, making it 3 wide total, and just frustrating for that 3 car. Frankenfield pushing the 4 car up off the exit of turn number 4. Going to take over the second position. Here comes Rashawn Lewis trying to draw side by side with the 4. 78 clears the 4. 19 not going to draw even with the 4 car heading down to turn number 1. John O'Heisel still has the race lead over Chad Frankenfield. Marek fighting with his new teammate Kirk Gibson off the exit of turn number 2, but Marek still has the edge. '78 car looks like he's slowly reeling in that 5 car. But we say slowly as in quite slowly. Nobody's really been able to touch John O'Heisel tonight. John O'Heisel, he's just been so darn strong all night. But there have been some drivers that have been able to chip his armor just a little bit. Been able to run up with him, pass him, battle the lead with him. But overall, that 5 car is stat. He's stout. Rashawn Lewis looks like he shovels up the racetrack through the center of 1 and 2. 78 throwing out the hook, reeling that 5 car in just a little bit. Top 5 is O'Heisel, Frankenfield, Talon, Lewis, and Marek. 24 laps to go in stage number 2. Harrison Talon boasting that he might have found something off the exit of turn number 2. Hoping that it's something good to get him to the end of the stage with maybe even a stage win. Frankenfield just running a much cleaner line than that 5 car, it seems. They're pretty equal for the most part. But that 78 car, he's just a little bit faster than that 5. Here comes Frankenfield. A car length away in turn 3. Running a half lane higher than that 5 car off the exit of turn number 4. That draft is so strong as they head down through the straightaway. He just pulls right up to the back of them, heading into turn number 1. '78 right there on that 5 car. Here comes Gibson under Marek. But Marek gonna shut the door. 20 to go in stage number 2. Now, of course, here in Kentucky in the Xfinity and Truck Series races last night, quite the difficult race for these drivers to try to figure out a setup to put forth into a possible race win. 5 car John O'Heisel, as we're speaking, is pitting. Looks like he's got a little strategy up his sleeve. 8 laps left on fuel for the majority of these drivers. 19 laps to go in stage number 2. This is going to be a strategy call for all these drivers. They're going to have to pit once in this stage. As we were saying, in the Truck Series, we had Ryan Thorvaldsen. He was quite good, but overall, the race winner in that race was Ryan Thorvaldsen. Ryan Thorvaldsen was able to win the Truck Series race last night, and I believe he was also able to win the Xfinity Series. Yes, he was able to win the Xfinity Series race last night over Eddie Carter and Harrison Talon in a very heated battle coming to the checkered flag. And that was a big battle in the point standings. Of course, whoever wins the standing, I'm trying to think what it's called. Oh my goodness. The regular season championship gets another 15 points tacked on to their total in the playoff grid. 78 car pits off the banking. New leader is the 4 of Harrison Talon, and here comes Rashawn Lewis trying to take it away from him. But the playoff grid, that is such an important piece for all these drivers, and it looks like Ryan Thorvaldsen, he's just running away with it all. If he can hold that point lead over Eddie Carter and Harrison Talon, by the time we run the next 3 races and head into the playoffs, he will have 15 points tacked on to what he will have at the end of these 3 races, which he could win the next 3 races, all stages. He could have an upwards of 21 extra points on top of the 15. He could be looking at potentially 53 points heading into the first round of the playoffs, which is massive. Down the back straightaway we go. Rashawn Lewis is your new leader. Harrison Talon. Here we're going to be seeing him pull onto pit road. Yes, he will. 4 car slows down into turn onto the pit road. Of course, it's a curved pit road. Sean Lewis in that 19 car. He is your current leader. Now what happens now? Who pits? Who does what? We're going to find out very shortly. I believe that John O'Heisel, after all is said and done, is going to end up cycling back over to the lead. He just seems too darn fast to not have the lead when all this thing cycles out. Tires are definitely degraded on all these race cars. Here in the 18 car is going to be pitting this time by. Could we see the other two drivers join him on pit road? Yes, Rashawn Lewis, he will also be pitting. Got another driver pitting. It looks like the 3 car of Brailsford, 18. John O'Heisel, of course, as suspected, is your new leader, retaining the lead after the pit stops. Trey Normiel, driver in the 4th position. Then we got Frankenfield in 3rd. 2nd is Talon, and 1st is O'Heisel. Oh, apologies. 78 cars in the 2nd position. Harrison Talon is in 3rd. 11 laps to go in stage number 2. John O'Heisel has the race lead, looking for yet another stage win this season. John O'Heisel complaining about the handling of the race car, but he still continues to pull away from the rest of the field. And that 48 of Ryan Thorvaldsen, of course, a frustrating day he's had. Started 2nd and just hasn't had much luck. He's pitting right now because before he got knocked onto pit road after a collision between he and Eddie Carter, and now he's got to go pit for some extra fuel here. Very unfortunate for him because he had quite the promising race car entering this weekend. And it looks like he's not going to get too many stage points here. Might only get 1. Chad Frankenfield slowly chipping away at the lead of John O'Heisel. Does he have enough time to get him? (18) to the outside of the 31, going to pass him for the 5th position. Harrison Talon is 10 seconds behind John O'Heisel. Looks like Frankenfield is 5 seconds behind O'Heisel. Chad Frankenfield continues to chip away just a little bit at John O'Heisel. The way it looks like John O'Heisel's been able to be pretty stable for the most part, able to hold off just about everybody here, and he might be able to cruise to another stage win if there's no cautions or incidents with that 5 car or anyone else. 5 laps to go in stage number 2. John O'Heisel, of course, won stage number 1 over Rashawn Lewis. This would tally up John O'Heisel's stage point earnings 2 more. And that, I believe, would put him just 2 points. I'm sorry, 1 point behind Frankenfield. Chad Frankenfield continues to cut down the time. He is now just a tad bit over 3 seconds behind with 3 laps to go. Seems that 5 car had just a little bit of kryptonite, and that is Chad Frankenfield on 4 tires. I believe that John O'Heisel only took 2 tires. And he continues to chip away just a tad under 2.5 seconds with 2 laps to go. Now, Chad Frankenfield has been quite aggressive tonight. If he gets to the back bumper, do we see him move that 5 car for the stage win? Under 2 seconds now, coming to the last lap of this stage. 1.4 back. He is coming. Cue the Jaws theme music. At 78 of Martin Truex Jr. in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series was a stage win king. Chad Frankenfield looking to be the same here in Kentucky, but I do not believe he's going to be able to do it. John O'Heisel wins yet again another stage here in Kentucky. 0.2 of a second. If there was another lap, Chad Frankenfield had the stage win in hand, but John O'Heisel hangs on by the skin of his teeth to get stage win number 2 tonight. Then it is Frankenfield, Talon, Lewis Marek. Then we got Carter, Gibson, Normiel, Brailsford, and Thorvaldsen. What an intense battle to end this stage. Now we have the longest stage of tonight. John O'Heisel now matches Chad Frankenfield in stage wins. Now this also means that he is tied with him at the top of the board in the playoff standings. They each have 27 points here in the playoffs. The next couple of drivers behind him, Ryan Thorvaldsen is the closest driver behind these two with 6 points. Just goes to show you how darn good the 78 and the 5 are. Green flag. O'Heisel and Talon going to clear the 78. 18 looks to do the same. 78 just gets a whole lot of power off the exit of turn number 2, though. Oh, Carter moves the 18 up. Said, I'm done with you. I'm moving you up, son. At 24, he's a man on a mission. He has been angry and aggressive all night tonight because he knows that he should have at least one stage win under him tonight. But he's looking for a race win, goes to the outside. 48 touches the 18. The 18 was 2 lanes higher than the rest of the field, and he still gets touched by a Hendrick Motorsports driver. Here comes Talon looking to take over the race lead. 78, 5, 24, all bunched up on the bottom lane. Is that going to work? 18 to the wall. He's going to lose all of that time. 78 going to fall in behind. David Brailsford. David Brailsford, look at him up in the 5th position. That 3 car looks mighty nice up here. Oh, Frankenfield causes a crash. Caution waves. Ryan Thorvaldsen, he was a lap down, and he was actually passing some of those drivers, and he is going to be back on the lead lap here. Chad Frankenfield, he's been quite aggressive all night tonight. Many drivers are disappointed in how he's been driving, considering the guy has 4 race wins this year. You got to think there's got to be some level of respect that he's got to deal with here. Unfortunately, it just doesn't seem that he's got that same respect. Green flag.
1
Harrison Salem was telling his crew chief, if the race ended right now, that'd be mighty nice. I'd love some rain to roll in here. But unfortunately, there's not going to be any rain rolling in through the bluegrass state of Kentucky tonight. We got a crash in the back. Ryan Thorvaldsen got his lap back, and he just gets wrecked. Caution waves. Frankenfield edges ahead of the 4-car. He's going to be your new race leader tonight. And Sean O'Hise will pit. Yes, everybody pits once again. Frankenfield, Talon, Brailsford, Carter, and O'Heisel. Yes, you heard me right. David Brailsford finally up here racing for the lead in the 3rd position. 42 laps to go here in Kentucky. Now, all these cautions, as disappointing as they may be to several of these drivers, is helping everyone in a weird, sadistic way, considering the fact that everybody has to get more fuel into their race car. So every time that a caution comes out, they get more fuel. Every time a caution comes out, more fuel. And they're just helping their cause a little bit, hopefully. Of course, this doesn't come down to a fuel mileage race when all is said and done, but it does seem that it may end up being that way. Without another caution, these drivers are going to have to make at least 2 more pit stops unless everybody can save 3 laps of fuel. David Brailsford, that 3-car looks very nice up in the 2nd position. But, of course, John O'Heisel said, I'm going to ruin your little party here. And he's going to run up to the 2nd position. At least get side by side with him. Chad Frankenfield continues to run away from the rest of the field. Oh, O'Heisel, 4-car Talon! Is he going to come back over the field? Yes! Oh, boy, the 18 almost absolutely annihilated the 4. Big crash. Four-car saying, I got blocked on the front straightaway, and that's such a dangerous thing at any racetrack. But, of course, here in Kentucky, it's just unfortunate that he ended up getting blocked on the front straightaway, causing as big as a wreck as it was. Everybody going to pit once again. Frankenfield, O'Heisel, Brailsford, Carter, and Thorvaldsen are your top 5. Here we come to the green flag. Chevrolet, the predominant fixture here in the front of the field. And look at David Brailsford looking for the lead, and he's got it! Oh, new leader, the 3 of Brailsford. Been plagued several times by that apron. He has the lead for the moment. Not going to be able to keep it, though. 48 and the 78 are going to go under him. 78 of Frankenfield just powers ahead of everybody. Then you got Thorvaldsen. Marek going to go for the 3rd position. Oh, almost wrecks Brailsford and himself. Heading down into turn number 1. Ryan Thorvaldsen trying to keep with that 78 car just so darn hard. So 24 says, is that a gap? Yes, it is. I'll take it. 3 wide, 18. Oh! Saves it and doesn't wreck anybody. And we got an incident here. Many drivers frustrated with how this whole thing ended up. Looks like David Brailsford once again gets caught up in another incident that was none fault of his own. Eddie Carter making it 3 wide. Just a little bit earlier, the 18 car got forced onto the apron, and it looked like a whole bunch of chaos ensued thereafter. It seems 3 wide just does not work here in Kentucky, and many of these drivers, they continue to test the 3 wide theory, and just about every time it doesn't favor any of the drivers. It works a handful of times, but that's about it. Unfortunately, everybody's just a little too tight, trying not to wreck each other or wreck themselves or wreck the rest of the field. They're just trying to do everything they can to stay off each other, stay off the apron, stay off the wall, and it's quite difficult for a lot of these drivers, unfortunately. But they continue to test that 3 wide theory, and we really wish they would knock it off. But of course, these drivers, they're going for the race win, and you can't blame them for at least trying to do something different, something eccentric. The fans love it. The fans are up on their feet. They're screaming. They're cheering. They love when they see the exciting 3 wide racing. These drivers, man, their heart rates go way up. I believe that Frankenfield is currently in the lead right now. Eddie Carter, John O'Heisel. That is your top 3. You got Ryan Thorwaldson, Rashawn Lewis, Harrison Talon, Trey Normiel, Kurt Gibson, Keith Marek, and David Brailsford. Those are the drivers that are running in tonight's event. Of course, the drivers that haven't had all that much luck tonight have been Normiel, Gibson, Marek, and Brailsford. They've had quite the difficult night tonight, and it just seems that it hasn't gotten much better as the night has progressed. But Eddie Carter, he's had an up and down night all night long, and here he is running in the 2nd position. Of course, he's got a little bit of a rage within him, so you can see just the steam rolling out of his ears. He wants to get up to that 78 car, rough him around a little bit, rattle his cage, and maybe get past him. 29 laps to go in this race. Many of the leaders are going to be rolling around to get 28 laps to go. Sean Lewis looking for the 4th position over Ryan Thorwaldson. He's been one of the talks of the night tonight. Such a fantastic drive he's put under him in that number 19 Comcast Business Toyota Camry. And it says on the side of it, built for speed. And I'll tell you right now, it is certainly built for speed here at the Kentucky Speedway. He's been able to run drivers down, be able to run up for the race lead, run up for the top 3 positions. And here he is trying to run down arguably the 3 best drivers all night long. And that is Frankenfield, Carter, and O'Heisel. And of course, 2 of those drivers that I just listed there are Hendrick Motorsports drivers. Hendrick Motorsports, they could once again 3 of the top 5 spots. And now John O'Heisel going to pass Eddie Carter for the 2nd position. So John O'Heisel going to try to take a crack at Chad Frankenfield to try to steal the lead away from him. Everybody's tires starting to disintegrate, degrade, and slowly come apart, as is the fuel situation. Fuel situation slowly but surely becoming more and more dim, or dull for that matter. John O'Heisel just incrementally quicker than the 78, but not a whole lot. He needs a lot more to happen. 78 car must have had a little bit of a mulligan. Had a bad 3 and 4. That 5 car, while Heisel just chipped in almost a half a second on that 78 car's lead. Now Chad Frankenfield, he's arguably one of the best drivers at holding a line, but at the same time, when he tries to hold a line and a driver's right there, it seems that he just chops on him and tries to keep that line to himself and his own. And many drivers are very disagreeing with that, and you can't really blame them. These drivers are all running for the same spot, and prime real estate on these racetracks is such a big key, and when a driver is continuously just running into you, it's frustrating. "22 laps to go as these drivers are going to be rounding." Chad Frankenfield hits the wall. Is there a new leader here in Kentucky? Not yet. John O'Heisel chipping it down just a little over 0.2 of a second. That 5-car O'Heisel, his eyes are getting wide, he's licking his lips, and he wants to take that lead. Tires on just about all these cars are just going out. John O'Heisel, he seems to be not enjoying the tire wear, but he is most certainly enjoying catching the 78 car as he's having problems with tire wear. Chad Frankenfield has just surrendered the lead to John O'Heisel. O'Heisel, just too much. Eddie Carter gonna jump onto pit road here. Now, is that the right move, considering the fact that he may not have enough fuel to end this race? There's a strong possibility that he may not have enough fuel as we're coming around to get 19 laps to go. 78 car Chad Frankenfield, he is pitting. Rashawn Lewis is pitting. Believe that Eddie Carter is going to be okay on fuel, though. Getting word the 18 car, he will be pitting.
Slower.
And these drivers have to watch their speed as they enter pit road. This is the money stop. Here they come in. The 4, the 48, they both pit. Seems like that 5 car of John O'Heisel, he's going to have quite the good pit stop here. I believe that 5 car is still going to be in the lead. Oh, and no, I apologize. It is Eddie Carter in the lead. It is a tight race for the top 3. It is Carter, Frankenfield, and O'Heisel. Chad Frankenfield is 0.2 of a second behind Carter. And 0.5 of a second behind Frankenfield is O'Heisel. Folks, don't go anywhere. This is going to get good. Coming to 16 laps to go here in Kentucky. Carter, I believe, continues to lead. Not sure what the interval is over he and Frankenfield. Just about a car length behind is Frankenfield behind Carter. Eddie Carter. Oh, we got contact between the 78 and the 24. 24 has the lead. I gotta tell you, man, he's like a rabid dog in a cage. He wants to win this. He's not backing down from anybody, especially that 78, considering the history that these guys have had all season, including tonight. It seems that David Brailsford, he may have ended tonight's event here in Kentucky. Three-tenths of a second separate Carter, Frankenfield, and Hoheisel. This is gonna be incredible. Frankenfield shoves the 24 onto the apron. 13 laps to go as they come across the stripe. We believe that Frankenfield is the new leader. Hoheisel, new second place driver, going to go under Frankenfield. Looking for the race lead. Carter, 4/10 of a second back. Twelve laps to go. They rocket down into turns 1 and 2. Frankenfield still with the gutsy moves. John Hoheisel, he's very content with how he races. Very soft-spoken, doesn't make much of a big problem, but when it comes down to it, I think he's just had a little too much of that 78 car tonight. And I think that 78 car just pulls something out of the hat. That 5 car, he might just pull a little something out of his hat. I believe there's an issue between the 78 and the 5. Eddie Carter, he falls all the way back. So does Hoheisel. They're back to 6th and 7th. Is Frankenfield still in the lead or no? Yes, he is. It looks like he just pulled a maneuver on the 5 car, taking out he and Carter. And that just about puts the kibosh off of their race. Got to be a frustrating finish for both of those drivers, considering how darn good they've been all night tonight. That 78 car, he pushed right down on the 5 car on the exit of turn number 2, I believe. That 78 car just pushing a little too hard. Oh boy. The 24 car is slowing down just a tad. He's going to be falling back to the 9th position here as the 18 is going to pass him. And the next driver in line is going to be that 78 car of Chad Frankenfield. We may see a little bit of retaliation here between the 24 and the 78. That 24 car, of course, driven by the famous Jeff Gordon. Speaking of retaliation, it brings back some wild memories. Some wild memories between Jeff Gordon and Clint Boyer at the 2012 Fall Phoenix race. Frankenfield escapes the 24's wrath. 24 of Carter, none too pleased with how he was raced. He's 24 of Eddie Carter. He's had it up to here with Chad Frankenfield this season. 6 laps to go here in Kentucky. Eddie Carter, once again, slowing down Depending upon what happens, this 24 car might get suspended for one race. If the 24 wrecks the 78, PCRL will most likely hand down a one-race suspension to the 24 of Carter. Carter like a shark in the water, looking around for that 78. Rashawn Lewis on pit road in the number 19 car. Most likely wasn't going to be able to make it on fuel. Eddie Carter, of course, not having much of a care if he'd be suspended for a race for taking out that 78 car of Chad Frankenfield. Carter, once again, slowing down. 2 laps to go. 24 of Carter still being reminded that if he does take out the 78 car, it will be. Oh, 24 takes out his teammate of Oheisel. White flag waves for Chad Frankenfield here in Kentucky. Chad Frankenfield looking for win number 5 this season. Frankenfield going to come through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Is he? Because Carter's waiting on the exit of turn number 4. And that's it. Chad Frankenfield is your winner tonight here in Kentucky. Harrison Talon, I believe, is going to end up finishing second tonight. And you got Thorvaldsen, Gibson, Oheisel. 6th is Normiel. 7th is Marek. 8th is Lewis. 9th is Carter. And 10th is Brailsford. And that'll do it in for tonight's event here in Kentucky.